Hello, everybody. This is Burn the Ship. Our goal of Burn the Ship is to introduce entrepreneurs or professionals that can help you go all in on your business. We want to we want to talk to people that have already walked the walk, talked the talk, and been through that process of business. And hopefully we can bottle up some of those skills and teach them to some of you guys in the audience that are looking to pick some of those up and add them to your bag. I thank you for coming. First and foremost, thank you for coming out. I appreciate you making the trip. I appreciate you coming in the studio. I'm looking forward to having the conversation with you. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and your business?
All right, my name is John Conde. My business is Academic Function Motivations. And so basically what I do is I tell stories. I tell stories, I put them into writing, and I have a couple of children's books out. So that's the main thing I do, and I think I do it well.
Yeah. So tell me a story, right? So tell me like what you were doing before and kind of what got you started in the business, like got you moving in that direction.
Okay, thanks for asking, first of all. So my story starts off when I graduated from high school. Started off as a private in the military, worked my way up to captain. Got out of the military, and I was like, wow, what do I do? So I go back to school. Got a Master of Social Work degree. I'm licensed in that. And I got out into the community, and I was able to see students in school, except it was only during lunch. And of course, being the person that I am, I said, wow, 30, 40 minutes is not enough time. I want to really spend more time with students, and how better do that than to become a teacher. Mm-hmm. So I went back and got certified as a teacher, started teaching school, not just any student, but students who had behavior problems. That's who I work with. So I worked with those students for about 5 years, going on 6 years. And then I decided, well, I think since the classroom was so small that I'm only helping just a few, I want to help more. And so I decided to put what I learned in the classroom and in life into storytelling, into books.
Nice. And so you kind of combined that social work experience and the teaching experience, and you knew kind of what your audience and what your demographic was going to be for the content that you put out. What were the ideas behind the two books that you've written? You could show them to the camera if you want as well.
Yes. Okay, my first book is Malik Returns to School. And of course, during COVID, a lot of students had problems returning to school. They want to stay on camera. They got comfortable, turn the camera off, do your homework. Coming back to school was a little intimidating. I even saw kids walking down the hall, and it seemed like they wanted to walk into the wall. I mean, really had trouble coming back to class, not social, not really friendly, and it was a transition for them. So I decided to write Malik Returns to School. It helped students transition back into the class by telling a story about a student named Malik who came back to school. Second book, Malik Defeats the Bully. So they kind of go together, part one and part two, and real simple is get back to school. So what do I see? I see a lot of students having trouble like making friends and, hey, want to talk about people because of what they're wearing, because, not from the same neighborhood, whatever the case may be. And this helps students deal with bullying, how to navigate through that, how to de-escalate, some strategies that Malik used, students are able to use. And matter of fact, a few adults told me they like it also. So it's definitely a skill that you need to have that'll benefit you in life. And like I say, it can benefit pretty much anybody.
Sure. And so tell me let's kind of get granular with the process of writing a children's book, right? Because I'm sure we have some people in the audience that are curious about, what does it take to make something like that real? So and we talked about it a little bit before, kind of the differences between the processes of these two books, but can you tell me a little bit about like what goes into that?
Yes. So I can tell you, first of all, writing a book is not for somebody who kind of doesn't really know if they really want to write or not. It's definitely something you have to really want to do and really decide to do. It's not a gray area type thing. So if you want to be an author, you have to be fully committed. You have to be willing to dedicate the time and effort and that goes into it. And it's not just writing a story, but there's also marketing. There's also time that goes into it. If somebody wants you to do an author visit, or I've read books to students at school, KIPP Academy. I've been there, participating in their storytelling, and go to visit libraries. It may take you donating some books to some libraries who have a lot of restrictions on purchasing things. It may take you, there's a lot of layers to it, so it's a commitment. So that being said, once you decide you want to do it, you can go the publisher route and write your story and give it to a publisher to publish it for you, and they'll take care of the marketing, creating the product. Or you could self-publish, which self-publishing has gotten really easy. Amazon now has a simple process. You just upload it. It's called Amazon KDP. You upload whatever you write, and they'll print it and package it and sell it for you. So it's not like it used to be where you had to have a publisher approve of your product and you get the green light. Now you can do it all yourself. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I just have benefited from doing both.
Sure. So the first one was your publisher route.
Yes.
What were like some things that went really well and some things you learned from that instance specifically?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. The publisher route, I enjoyed it because it was my first book. You know, they did a lot of the work for me. I gave them the story. Hey, how do you like this picture? We went back and forth, collaborated, and the book was published and it was put out. Got a lot of good reviews. Now, the only thing that self-publishing gave me that publishing route didn't was creative control.
Sure.
So the creative control that I had being self-published was, say, Malik wearing a mask. Publishing route, you have a black mask or a white mask. But self-publishing, if I wanted my mask to have stars and stripes on them, I could put it on there.
Mm-hmm.
That's just an example of some of the things I could do being self-published that I probably couldn't do being published. Because if the publisher doesn't like something or doesn't think that it will be a good product and represent their company, their organization, they can tell you, hey, let's think about something else or go a different route.
Sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then with the self-publishing route, you had the creative control and the process was easier. But kind of what's the differences between like that publisher relationship and not having the publisher relationship with the marketing and all of those things?
Okay, the difference is pretty much self-publishing. You're pretty much your own marketing engine, so to speak. So self-publish, if you want to do yard signs, if you want to go expensive and you want to rent billboards on the side of the interstate or do Facebook ads, whatever you want to do, you can do it. Publishing, they offer certain services, but it might not be everything you want as far as marketing goes. They might have limited services, and what they have is what you have to choose from.
Sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then, so with this route, we talked a little bit about how you've been kind of donating some of the books. Has that been what you've seen as kind of your most valuable source of marketing with your newest book?
It is. It is, and I'm going to tell you why. I feel as a teacher, I have access to a lot of the school libraries, of course, and a lot of the students. And there's nothing that I feel touches a human being more than to see that you care enough to take something out of your pocket, out of your income, and give.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to donate books to the students who, without that happening, may never get to read it,
Sure.
really, I feel touches people and the community as a whole.
Sure. And what have your sales been like? Like, have you been able to kind of profit from your book yet?
Yes, I have made a small profit, not as, of course, as large as I would like to see, but it has been enough to sustain me, and that's all I need, really.
Sure.
I'm not
Because the mission's more important.
exactly the mission. Malik, like I've had a student say, "Hey, you know what? This book really helped me because I tried it." A student was bullying me, and I did exactly what Malik did, and it worked. And it worked, and I didn't think it would work, but it did. And so those stories, when I hear that, and even with the emotional behavior, if there's a student out there that's still on Zoom, going to school from home, or being homeschooled, and he reads my book, Malik Returns to School after COVID, then, and he builds up enough courage to come back in the classroom face to face, that matters more than
The
money.
dollars and cents.
than the money.
Yeah, for sure.
It's all about helping the kids out there, and to make healthy choices and live a better life.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I can agree with that 100%. And so what's next? You're continuing this line of with Malik?
That's what I've been asking. I've been asking that question, and on my website, I have a comment section on the contact page. Every book reading I do, I ask the students, what would you like to see next? Because it's not what I want to see next, it's what they need to read about. And
What's some of the feedback that you've gotten?
well, some of the feedback I've gotten is some students want to see more realistic stories, more nonfiction. A couple of students have asked me to write about some things they're scared of. So it varies and depends on student to student. And I haven't made the decision yet, but based off what they need, I'll try to facilitate the best I can.
For sure. No, that makes sense. And so through this whole process, right, what would you say is like the number one thing that you've learned?
The number one thing I've learned is that you can influence and you can have an impact no matter how big or small on your community if you really believe in something and are driven to do it. Don't hesitate. Just go for it. And if it's something you really believe in,
Just make your voice loud. People will hear it.
and set small goals and go from there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I can agree with that. And it seems to me, from the outside looking in, that the skills, one of the things that's helped you be so successful is kind of merging what you understand from social work and the experience that you have from teaching, and then kind of merging that into a product that you feel kind of solves some of those gaps in the school system, right? Or in childhood in general, right? What if you could, identify that next thing for yourself, without the feedback, and you had something else that what are some of those other pressing issues right now in the school system that you would love to address in some way or shape or form?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. Some of the things that's going on right now is students are coming back into the class and they're behind because being in class is not the same as learning on Zoom or on a computer. Everybody knows that. They're behind. So put a lot more academics into my books. Like Malik Defeats the Bully, there's some solar system things in there to where you're reading, you're learning. It may not seem like you're learning, but you are. You're learning math, you're learning about the solar system, and you're getting a good story.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's what I'm going to continue to do, is to put a little
Throw some knowledge in there.
academics,
Yeah.
put some academic rigor in my books to where Like for example, on the standardized tests, students need to know certain vocabulary words. So there might be some challenging words. Students read the word and they need to go look it up.
No, yeah, I feel that.
And so that's what I'm looking forward to in the future with my books is putting some academic rigor in there, and of course it's going to be grade level, but it won't be a book where you could just read and it's like, wow, that was fun. But you're going to have to really do some research, and it's going to really challenge you as a reader, and you're going to get something out of it.
Sure. How big is the market for children's books? Like, and this is just from a curiosity perspective because I really don't know, but I have a 3-month-old baby at home, right? And we have a 6-shelf bookcase absolutely slap full of books, right? And my wife loves books. I love to read myself. But she's been very focused on reading to the baby and interacting with it in that way. So how big is that market for children's books? Like how many children's books are out there selling every day?
There's millions of children's books out there. To be honest with you, every children's book doesn't make it into Barnes and Noble. It doesn't make it on the library shelf.
Sure.
Like I say, with Amazon, you just upload a book and you can sell it. So
And you said you kind of have to be willing to give something away for it to, be present in that face-to-face environment like that as well.
Yes. So, the children's book market is, very big. I would look at it, like I couldn't tell you the exact number, but there's a lot of writers out there. So where I try to differentiate is I try to focus on behavior, changing behavior, and leadership, some of the leadership skills that Malik has, some of his morals and values. I try to write books that a child can learn from and grow from.
Sure.
And so that's what I think separates me from the typical Alice in Wonderland or
Yeah, right. And it's not just entertainment.
It's not just entertainment. The student or the child's gonna read it and they're gonna remember it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we kind of speak the same language, but to different people. You know what I mean? Where you are very focused on the value that is inherently present in the product that you're putting in front of children, right? And we're kind of the same thing here at Burn the Ship, right? Because, your children are our business owners, right? And we want to fuel and bring value to them in a way that isn't just motivational. Because I think I said this on the phone, like when you look at business podcast online, what you see is what millionaires know that poor people don't know. Like you see a bunch of you see either a bunch of motivational stuff or a bunch of like business hack type of stuff, and nobody really ever gets into the nitty-gritty of what it takes to get in there and be a successful business owner. And I think you're kind of speaking that same language, is like what it takes to really get in there and be successful in life in the current environment of what we experience today in school and with children in general, even outside of the school system. So I understand. I'm picking up what you're putting down, and I think it's very, very cool. And I hope I find some people that I can connect you with to help you get your book in front of even more people, because I read the digital copy. I read the digital copy to my son. I have a 6-year-old son as well. And we looked through it and we virtually flipped the pages and we enjoyed it. And it's a good time. It really is. It's a great book. We really enjoyed it. We definitely enjoyed it, man. And he was actually, the week we enjoyed it was the week that he got out for summer vacation, right? And so he was like, I was like, yeah, we're going to have to read this one at the beginning of next year, huh? Because he's going into first grade, and it's night and day process for him. So, yeah, the, just experiencing what I've experienced with my 2 kids over the last, 6 years has been insane. My son starting school was insane. No idea what to expect. It's a nervous and honestly, it's just hard to wrap your mind around things. So, from me to you, I appreciate the resources and value that you're bringing to the people out there in that community. It means a lot.
Thank you. And just to add to what you were saying is a lot of adults don't realize, Mr. Conde, the teacher, I tell a student to do something. It may go through one ear and out the other, but peer influence peer influence. If another student says it, or if they read it and Malik does it, they can relate to Malik.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They can
They're
relate.
going through a lot of the same stuff.
Yes, they're going through a lot of the same things. So when another student tells them, or Malik, they read about it in a book, you'd be surprised the difference and the impact it has on their young lives.
No, I believe that. I absolutely believe that. Tell me, if for anybody in our audience that wants to buy your book, right, or they want to get in contact with you for speaking opportunity, or they want to bend your ear about something and they're interested in getting into the same market, how do they find you and how do they find your books?
academicfm.com.
Nice.
It's my website, and I have all my contact information on there. I have a donation page where if you're generous enough to donate, you can through PayPal. Also, you could purchase the book at any of the stores, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, or Amazon. And all my information is there, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Nice. That is awesome, my friend. Getting on those shelves and being that widespread out in the world is a big deal. So the last thing I wanted to talk about is burning the ship, right? At some point, I would venture to say that there was like a light switch moment where it was the social work and then to the teaching, and you're like, however that develops of, I need to put more resources in the hands of the people that I'm interacting with on a daily basis, that makes you want to dive into this author and entrepreneurship phase and building a business out of it. And I say a light switch because usually people can kind of recall that moment where it's an idea that rolls around in your head for a while, and then usually people can recall that moment where they flip the switch and they're like, all right, now it's getting so real to me that I'm going to start pushing. What does that feel like, and why should other people kind of look for that same moment of finding where to dive in?
Yes, well, as my grandfather once told me when I asked him, I said, Granddad, how do I know when I find the right person? Because you've been married to grandmother a long time. He said, son, you'll just know.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that same thing about being an entrepreneur. You won't have to ask anybody. You won't have to do a survey. You'll know by your gut instinct that this is the right thing to do. And most people go through a checklist and they say, these are the pros, these are the cons. But I really believe that you could throw that checklist away.
Yeah.
Because it's useless.
Yeah,
if
for
it's
sure.
not in your gut and you don't make your mind up to do it, and you're still contemplating or
Standing in your own way. Yeah.
thinking about it or hesitating or second guessing, then it's not for you. So when you have that gut instinct and you take that step forward on faith and you believe in yourself, that's the key. Believing in yourself, then it's time to do it.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And that's what it is, that's burning the ship. That's what committing to it is. And really the goal of that question is for people to relate to that. You know what I mean? And there's people out there second guessing themselves right now about, why do I feel this in my gut the way that I feel it and I can't commit to it because I'm so unsure. I think we all experience that. You know what I mean? As we are mentally, your mind unpacks things different from the person that you're sitting beside and the person that you're sitting across and the person that you're sitting behind. You know what I mean? Is your mind compartmentalizes things in a way that makes you be able to digest them a little bit easier. And going all in and committing on a business that is not a guarantee, it's an investment of time and money and energy that you hope to gain a return on, is a scary thing, But if you feel it in your gut, I truly believe that entrepreneurship is something that you can't replace. It's very, very difficult to find a substitute for that. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
You've done a lot of amazing work, and I look forward to seeing where it goes. I look forward to doing this podcast again in a year or 2 years or something like that, and seeing, the next renditions of the material that you've put out, and seeing it really, really gain some traction and things like that. So I'm excited about it. It really is. It really is a cool thing to me, and I am one of those parents that is experiencing exactly what my son experiences at school every day. So I appreciate it. If you have anything else to leave the audience with, please, the platform is yours. But that's all the questions that I have, my friend. I think we've balled it up pretty good from an entrepreneur perspective, and I hope that people realize the value that there is in people like you bringing resources to people that they love the most.
Thank you. No, all I can say is, hey, please go out and purchase the book. Thank you for your purchase, and stay tuned because Malik has more adventures.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll link the purchase of the book to the video. Click down here, and then we'll link the your website as well. That way, people can find you and get a hold of you and everything like that. Maybe there's some people that want to collaborate with you as well. So, any resources that we have are absolutely at your disposal, and I just appreciate you coming. It means a lot.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Let's burn the ship.